All right, fam, what is up? I am doing another back-to-back, so I am going to be sweaty, unfortunately, but it's going to be worth it. I'm headed off to a fishing spot that's kind of far away, and I just figured, you know what, I'm still fired up. I might as well just kind of take advantage of it and get another podcast in. The one that I was originally wanting to do for the third episode was I wanted to tell my story about Gary and our first interaction. I'll just go at that, and essentially how I made it to VeeCon, and just how I got the opportunity to be around the most creative minds in the entire world, and to be inspired to do this podcast, and to be inspired to just start all of the projects that have been in my heart all of my life. Like, I'm making my inner child happy, and I'm gonna go balls to the wall. Like, I really am. I'm just gonna keep creating as much as I possibly can, because I'm so late to the game. That's how I feel, I guess. I just feel like I have so much life experience, so much stuff that is in my soul that I feel like I just want to get off my chest and share with you guys. So I'm just excited to have started this journey when I did at 23 years old. I can't wait to look back at this in the future, and just it'll be a humbling thing, I think. But or who knows, maybe I'll just end this by episode 5 and I'll never, or shoot, maybe this will be my last episode. I don't know, but I don't think so. I genuinely believe that this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now with my life, and I'm just having so much joy in doing it. So I don't think I'll stop anytime soon, but I'm not gonna force myself to do anything. So I just think if I can keep my authentic voice and hopefully entertain an audience, then I should just keep going with this. So with that being said, I just hope you guys are doing amazing. I genuinely thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to this. Let me know if there's anything that I can do on my behalf as the creator to fix this experience, to make it a little bit better. I'd be happy to do so in any which way. Hoping to get a new phone here soon, so that actually might help as well. But as of right now, this is the best I can do, and I'm just happy to have this opportunity to speak with you guys. So that being said, I'm going to dig right into how I got the opportunity to go to VeeCon, and then I'm going to dive into the significance of the Veefriends project as well, because I got to give my boy Gary some love. And if you guys haven't noticed by now, if you've listened to the other podcasts, Gary has, yes, significantly changed the course of my creative career and my happiness as a whole. So I owe this man my life, and I'm serious about it. So with that being said, I am completely humbled to say that I got to meet him after 4 years of listening to his content online. And if you know me in real life, like, you know how grateful I am for his podcast and for everything that he preaches, just simply because I, as a human, have been able to, appreciate and understand and resonate with a lot of what he shares and a lot of what he says. And because of that, like, just continuously listening to him for, like I said, 4 to 5 years now has significantly improved my life. And I'm just so thankful for it. And but yeah, one of the things that he has truly helped me embrace, and I haven't done it fully, obviously, like, if you're deep into my Instagram content and you're listening to this podcast, I'll be the first to say, like, and the only one to say, that this is the way that you're going to get the vulnerable Austin, is by listening to this. And you're going to really get to know me well if you listen to this, and I hope that brings you much value, because it's not easy to be vulnerable, as a lot of you know. But I genuinely think that this is going to help a lot of people if I do go vulnerable, and ultimately that is my goal with my life, is to change this world for the best, and to to stand for all the things that I believe in with a full presence. And yeah, so back into the story. I'd say about 6 months ago, so what would that be, like October of last year or whatever? Oh geez, like November of last year. It's already, wow, December of last year. I'm sorry, which really doesn't matter the timeline, but I just heard one of his podcasts. He was actually talking about the cannabis space, which, if you again know me in personal life, like, you know that I am a cannabis consumer and I am a believer in all of the great things that cannabis has to offer for the specific consumer that needs it. And yeah, I just, I obviously wouldn't encourage anybody to start smoking cannabis based off of, hearing me say that, but I would highly encourage you to not be, limited to your thoughts on it, because it is an amazing, amazing plant, despite what kind of experience you've had with it. There are a lot of people that have benefited tremendously from this plant, and me being one of them. And so, back to the story again, sorry. Tons of tangents, I guess. But yeah, so back to the story. In December of last year, I picked up in one of Gary Vee's podcasts that he was actually investing into a building in downtown LA on Green Street. And they were calling this building the Green Street Building. And it has a ton of significance in the cannabis space just because of the fact that, it's in the heart of LA, for one, and for two, it's on Green Street, which I'm pretty sure there's probably, I'm not educated on this, and I'm sorry to say that I'm not, but I'm sure there's probably been like cannabis festivals or parades rather, down that street in the past, and, riots and stuff like that, maybe even, for the plant, because this is such an amazing plant. And if I was born in the 70s, I would probably be one of those crazy hippies that lives off the earth and just shares his passion for cannabis and fishes when I want to, because that's the type of guy that I am. And that being said, back to the story again. I noticed that he had invested in this company. So immediately, as I'm like, listening to this podcast, I look up Green Street Building, and of course there's already social media accounts under it, and like, I'm just like diving into the business, and just like the fact that he bought this building with the, he wasn't the only person to invest into it. He has partners that I believe own a little bit more than he does, like 51-49 or 49-51 the other way. I'm not real sure and educated on that, but that's besides the point. The point is that I just know what kind of visionary Gary Vee is, and I know that he knows and has a finger on the pulse of where the world is going. And the fact that he got into the cannabis space just got me super excited, because it was just, I don't want to say like making me feel justified for all of my amazing ambitions that I have for the cannabis community, but I was just happy that I had another thing to resonate with myself with him. And I know he's not a consumer of cannabis, and I know he hasn't been, somebody that's been impacted for the best because of the plant, but I just know he's a real one because of the fact that he knows people that have been, and because of that, he's an investor. And so yeah, this building, I'll give everything the story. This building, it's 7 stories high. We've got an awesome, balcony area on top, or whatever, or like rooftop area on top, and the whole floor, like all 7 floors, are rented out to cannabis brands and companies that are, passionate and just like well-renowned brands that are in the space and established already as of to date. And I just was so inspired by it. And they came out with a festival that they were going to be putting on in May. And as soon as I literally found all this out, like I listened to that podcast, and then I basically bought the tickets for this festival like 2 days later. So I literally found out about it, looked it up, did the research, because there wasn't much information in the podcast, because he's not real vocal about, his cannabis endeavors and stuff. But he, man, I'm just so happy I picked that up, because I bought the tickets, like I said, they were literally only 25 bucks, and I was just going just because me and my girlfriend, we've never been on a vacation together, for one. We've never been out to Cali before. We've never been out west. My aunt also, who I really wanted to invite, who also has been benefited for the best because of the plant, I invited her to come with, and it was just an amazing experience because she's never been to LA before. So all around, like, it was just a super, super cool time. And what made it even better was the fact that, and I didn't even know this, but Gary Vee was giving 2 keynotes that day. One at, I believe, 4 o'clock and one at, like, 8 o'clock. So when I found that out, I was like, holy smokes, we are for sure going to that. So we had to go to a different building to see it, and I'm so happy that we did, because it was the best keynote I think I've ever heard him have. And it was funny. I was like one of the only people in the audience that was clapping and like cheering after every solid thing that he was saying, and he picked up on it right away. He winked at me, you know, and I locked eye contact, and we just instantly, like, I just felt like he was my boy. And yeah, it was just, again, like a touching moment for me. I was just like on the verge of crying after every solid thing that he was saying, just because hearing it live was just so refreshing. And yeah, like, I loved it so much. And after he gave his talk, there was literally about a dozen people that wanted to shake his hand and stuff. So I just, you know, I went to the front of that line and shook his hand. I expressed all my gratitude towards him, and my gosh, was it so cool. It was amazing, actually. It was such an amazing moment, and it actually went for about 1.5 minutes long. And he, after I expressed my gratitude for all of his content and just everything that he does for the world, I just, you know, how did it go down? So he asked me, he's like, are you going to VeeCon? Because VeeCon was the following weekend, and that's a whole nother story in itself. But I was supposed to be going to VeeCon because I was supposed to be an original VF1 owner. But that's, like I said, a whole nother story in itself. But unfortunately, I missed out on the first drop of VeeFriends, and I unfortunately had to go through a really tough 3 months after that to realize and, you know, to stomach the fact that I wasn't going to be at the first conference that he was going to be throwing. But, you know, I was fine with it. It was what it was. It is what it is, kind of thing. So I was just so blessed and happy to have the opportunity to see him. And he just could sense my vibes, I think. And he just straight up, he's like, dude, I want you there. He's like, we're going to get you a ticket. I'm like, are you serious? Like, no, like, you don't got to do that, brother. And he's like, no, you're going to be there. And so I just could not believe it. I really, really couldn't. But he gifted me the ticket. He literally called D-Rock over. Him and I got our emails exchanged. And then it even gets better, actually. I forget that it gets better, but we dabbed each other up one last time, and we split our ways. We had to go get some grub. We were super, super hungry, and we came back at 8. Another amazing, amazing keynote. And oh my gosh, right after he actually got off the stage and was giving hugs. So I was like, yo, Caroline, I'm sorry, I got to give this man a hug, like, for sure. So got in line, gave him a hug, got to take a selfie with him, and he was like, dude, you coming to VeeCon? And I was like, oh my gosh, bro. I was like, yes, I can't wait. Like, I am gonna find a way to get there. I'm gonna be there, brother. Like, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And he's like, hey, D-Rock, get over here. And D-Rock's his videographer, for those that don't know. And so D-Rock comes over, and Gary whispers in his ear. He's like, hey, man, you could trust this guy. He's good. He's good for it. Give him your phone number. Let's get him a ticket tonight. So he got my phone number, gave me the ticket right after that. And from then on, it's history. Like, I can't believe I got the opportunity. I got home, on Tuesday that week, and went out to Minneapolis on, on Thursday, yeah. Thursday for the welcome party. Drove out there all alone. Took out money in my savings account for a hotel room. paid up the yin-yang for the hotel room, but it was so worth it. And I was right next to the place. I've met over a dozen amazing souls that, oh my God. I'm just so thankful for all the people that I met. And yeah, it was just all around an amazing time. And as you guys know, like, it has seriously impacted me for the best as a creator. Hearing a lot of the 64 speakers that were there. There were 64 speakers. It was a conference from Thursday. There was a welcome party Thursday evening, and then there was an all-day conference Friday, all-day Saturday, and then a half day on Sunday until about 3. And between hearing Snoop Dogg, Logan Paul, Gary Vee, with all of, you know, the World of Women NFT creators, all of like these amazing artists, like Miguel, who else? Like, there's literally countless successful people that were speaking there, and everything that I gained from it is along the lines of that kindness is contagious. And what Gary Vee is building as far as community goes is something so special, so profound, and he is so underrated as far as like what he's going to be doing for this world. And I'm just humbled to be a part of it. I'm humbled to have this opportunity to share his endeavors with you, because I think it's something that is so special. And I think even for those listeners that aren't fans of Gary Vee himself, or have tried to listen to Gary Vee but it just didn't quite click or didn't quite, you know, resonate with you, his style is very, very unique, you know, to the type of consumer. So I understand and have empathy to that. But that's why I really want you to open up your imagination and your creativity to understand where he's going to take this Veefriends project that he's already created. And where he's going to take this is a place that is very, very, very special. And I say that with so much conviction because I just know with all of my heart that everything that he preaches is based out of good intent and around all of the soft skills that humans have, aka kindness, compassion, sympathy, empathy, you know, like all of these things, all these qualities that make up a healthy ecosystem for you to live within, and a perspective and framework for you to work in. And I understand, like I said, that a lot of people haven't been able to get that instilled into them from somebody like Gary Vee, but there are people that you can thank for instilling some wisdom and perspective into your brain. And I want you to lean into those people and just understand that, you know, that kind of significant intent, if you know that that's what he's or any other creator is bringing to the table, just try to conceptualize how that creator can reach out and expand to every single consumer on this earth to spread their message that they're so passionate about. And the way that Gary Vee, as the creator, as the operator, is going to do that, and has already gone about doing so, is by developing the IP and characters, aka little animals that have, you know, characteristics attached to them, like the empathetic elephant, for example, the kind Kadu. Like, there's a lot of different animals that have these different qualities in front of them. And, you know, of course, when you see them on OpenSea and you look up the Veefriends project, you might look at it and be like, well, why the hell is empathetic elephant going for 60 grand or 200 grand rather? Like, you know, and I would say it's because you're not understanding what it means to own an IP or own something digitally on the blockchain that's going to be significant in the future. It's like if you were to tap into the creator of SpongeBob before SpongeBob is even a TV show, and you're able to buy the IP of SpongeBob itself, yet give that IP away to a company to build out the episodes of SpongeBob, and then you get the, you know, the royalties and the, you know, commission from doing that. And that's essentially what's going on with this NFT space. And with a creator that has the intent of someone like Gary Vaynerchuk, this man has created these characters out of his soul, out of his true identity of what he stands for and believes in as a human. And now there's symbols that are aside from him and can impact kids that can't, listen to his podcast and consume cuss words and consume the information that he's putting out. Like, this is going to be a way for him to spread all of the amazing things that he's, spread on me and a lot of other people that can consume his information and learn from it. And he's going to spread that to the world, utilizing these characters and utilizing the IP and building that IP out, okay? And so that means that essentially someday the Empathetic Elephant could have its own TV show called The Empaths, and the Empathetic Elephant is the main character, and then there's 50 other characters out of the 260 some odd characters that are in Veefriends that are making this ecosystem and world alive that may or may not hit, mainstream culture and society, but in all actuality, just the ability to do that is so profound beyond belief. And the contract aspect of it as well, which might sound confusing right now, is just also what adds the benefit to everything that I'm discussing about. So, like, for example, so you're able to track down a lot more of the consumer metrics. So if you're a creator and you create something and it gets sold on a secondary marketplace, if you're an author, your publishing company, your business as the author is not going to get the commission and the money for that. So what's profound about this technology is it's going to be changing that. It's not going to completely eliminate piracy, but it is going to track down secondary sales, and it is going to return, the royalties to the ones that deserve that. And as a creator that is going to change the world for the best through the IP of characters similar to the way that Disney World operates, and how Walt Disney operated his career, I would say Gary Vee is in a very, 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 very similar position. And I say that because I would argue that, Walt Disney was a very creative individual, and that he may or may not have created those characters knowing that he was going to change the world with them. But I just know for a fact that if he would have created it with that intent, I just think it would have gone on a whole new level of fame. And I just genuinely believe that there's been no other creator to do something like that. And a lot of the stuff that hits mainstream culture is actually things that struck, fame out of nowhere. Like SpongeBob, for example, was literally supposed to be an adult show. It wasn't even supposed to be a kids show. Yet it turned into a kids show. And the audience, the consumer was the one that basically directed that trajectory of the project and of that, creative artwork. But I just think now with the technology of the blockchain and with the intent that Gary Vee has, and obviously he put the intent directly into the name of these characters, like, it's just so clear to me what he's going to do. And it's so clear to me that he is going to change this world for the best, and that he is gathering. After VeeCon, what I realized is that he has one of the major following. Like, he has one of the biggest followings, I think, that is a community of like-minded, creative individuals that are wanting to change the world for the best, rather than, create some people that are trying to create things to benefit their wallets, for example. Like, that's not what his community's full of. And I was really proven to be true, and so was everybody else that was at VeeCon. Like, if you were at VeeCon, I thank you for listening to this, because I fucking love every single VeeFriend, and I love every single person on this earth, especially if you listen to this podcast. But, like, I love you so much, and if you could, comment down below and just say, like, it's true. VeeCon was special. There was 7,500 people there, and all 7,500 people were the most gracious, kind, empathetic, caring people that I've ever seen, and I genuinely believe that anybody in Minneapolis or working in Minneapolis downtown would say the same exact thing, because we took over as a VeeFriend community, and we took over with a lot of kindness, and it was amazing. Like, it was so cool to see, and it's honestly what's inspired me to create my NFT projects that I'm coming out with later this year, and hopefully later this summer. And it's obviously created a whole new level of drive in me to create content. I would have never ever started this podcast if it wasn't for hearing all of those amazing keynotes over the the course of last weekend, and I'm just eternally grateful. Like, I've got no other words, and I think it's perfect. Like, there's no other podcast named the Car Talk podcast, so I think that's a perfect fit. And I just think that I have the perfect fit and perfect community, or rather strive for a community that is going to be perfect for this world. And I know I'm building it from scratch, and I hope that this inspires you to do the same thing if you have this kind of ambition. And I really, really hope that hits home, because if I would have started this 4 years ago, I would be really in a different point in my life. And I don't want you to wait. If you're out there and you think that you can do something similar to like what I'm doing, don't wait. Just start it. Flip the camera open. Start it. Open a new YouTube account if you need to. Start it. Like, it's just about starting. Once I get into episode 50 or 100 or 1,000, then I can, really, really worry about community management and directing my podcast to whatever you guys want to hear. But right now, I'm just sharing everything on my heart and soul, and I think that's everything and more. Not even everything and more. It's everything that you can do. If you got something in your heart, if you feel like you've got something to create, I hope you go out there and do it today, because today is no better day than any. And I freaking love you all. I'm humbled to be here and to spend this time with you. And be on the lookout for Car Talk podcast number 5, fam. Hopefully I got AC, but it probably is not going to happen. For sure not going to happen. But hopefully the temperature's a little bit cooler. And it's not even that hot today, so I need to quit being a baby, because summer's coming up quick. And I don't know if I'll be able to get that AC fixed with all the money I just spent on a hotel last weekend. So anyway, with that being said, I freaking love you all. Stay curious, stay kind, spread that happiness if you got it in you. And yeah, I just wish you all the best day ever. And peace out, fam.